All right. So this is going to be a video to explain and show you a way you can analytically compare yourself on a fundamental level with the experienced players and the pro players that are already out there, with any video you watch, right? So before I do this, I want to give a quick shout out to one very supportive YouTuber in the comments. It's iShare, making this video mainly for you, and of course for the rest of the people that subscribe. But since you're not in our Discord group, I feel like it's only fair to share this information with you. And of course, I'm quite happy to share it with everyone else too. So thank you for all the support, my dude. It's really cool to see your comments. Anyways, so before we begin, this is going to be a pretty long video, maybe, and I'll do my best to explain it. So first, we're gonna go through the phases. If you haven't read my guide on the 4 major phases, don't worry, I'm going to go through it here so that there's no confusion. I go through this with my Discord group now, and so everyone's hearing this over and over, and they've seen these clips, right? So anyways, let's explain the phases, right? So there's 4 major phases. Before I explain the phases, I kind of want to explain what I'm doing here with this terminology. It's like the colors, right? We have so many different colors, like range of colors. So just like Apex, there's so many different things that can happen. We have a range of situations that can happen. But instead of giving them all a name, we want to simplify them as much as possible, right? And when you simplify the colors, what do you get? You get red, blue, yellow, green, purple, etc., right? And you can name as many as you want, but we keep it simple so we understand what we mean immediately. So we need to do that with Apex, and I've simplified it into 4 different phases. So I'm gonna, if you want to follow along, get a piece of paper and answer the questions that I write down. But I'm gonna space them out. So I'm gonna put P1 for phase 1, and I'm just gonna go P2, P3, and P4. So now we have to be clear on what P1 is. And what phase 1 is when you are unaware of the enemy, when you don't know where they are, right? This means you have no clue. The only thing you know is the squad's left number and the player count on the right here. You don't know where they are, what they're doing, right? That's phase 1. So what do you want to call that phase? Write it down. Whatever it means, write it down. I'm going to call it the unaware phase, right? Unaware phase. Phase 2 is like a contrast to that phase. That's when you are aware of the enemy. So that means, or that could mean when you hear gunshots, or when you hear footsteps, or when you shoot at someone, or when you just see someone, right? Any way you're now aware of the enemy means you've entered the second phase. I'm going to call that the aware phase, right? Originally, I call it the imposition phase because that name actually fits in my mind and what I'm trying to do here. But to make it easier for everyone else, I'm just going to call it the aware phase because the names doesn't matter. And now we have phase 3, and that's when we have an exchange, and we're going to be super specific about this. We're going to say that's when both opponent and the player is attacking at the same time. Meaning if we pause the video and then not attacking at the same time, that's not an exchange, right? So I'm going to call that the exchange phase. Right? And now we have the last phase, right? And this is where you have no other option but to fight. Meaning, if you try and take cover, will you die? If you try and use an ability, will you die? If you try to do anything but shoot back at the enemy, you will die, right? What shall we call that phase? Just a second. All right. We'll call that phase. I'm going to call it the no options phase. Right? The only option is to fight back. And now, to make this clear for yourself and everyone else, we need to set a question, which I call the condition, right, to enter the phases. That needs to be answered to enter the phases. So in between phase 1 and 2, I will put, are you aware of the enemy? Right? Yes or no. If it's a no, you're in phase 1. If it's a yes, you're in phase 2. Right? So the second condition would be, are you attacking at the same time? Right? So are you attacking at the same time? Yes or no? If it's a yes, you're in phase 3. If it's a no, you're still in phase 2. Right? And now, the next question, which is the hardest phase to detect, right, is the no options phase, and the condition in question is, will you die for retreating? Right? If you attempt to retreat, will you die? Yes or no is the question. If it's a yes, then you have no other option but to fight back. If it's a no, then you're either in phase 2 or phase 3. Right? So phase 4 is like an override of the phases. Right? So now we've set our meanings of the phases. Now we can try and identify them. And what we want to do is identify them with the experienced players, with our own gameplay, to see, what we find.
I'm real sorry.
I'm going to do that with you guys here. So already I can hear some shots in the distance. They sound like they're coming around this area here. So that's phase 2, right?
That just happened right.
I'm going to put the descriptions. I'm going to put the YouTube channel in the descriptions. If I fail to find anyone's correct YouTube channel, you can let me know. But I'll put the YouTube channels at least for the videos that I've got, right?
Right here. CLG I'm Madness, dead.
So he's even saying something that I guess he knows, maybe who it was, So he's definitely aware. And the other question is, are they attacking at the same time? There's no attacking going on.
Right in front of me. Pull up on
That's
that ball.
Bray.
Who's blue?
Bray's actually like the best player in the game.
Look right here. Right.
So I ask people, what phase is he in right now? And oftentimes they would say, he's in phase 3. And I'll say, tell me the difference between phase 2 and phase 3. And then they'll go, oh, no, he's in phase 2 because there's no exchange, which is correct.
Wraith in a really bad spot.
I go, what phase is he in now? And I go, phase 2.
Cracked her. She won't be able to get up top. Oh my god. Sweet.
I go, what phase is he in now? Right?
Oh my god.
Right here. I go, what phase is he in with this enemy? And sometimes they go, phase 3. But then when they ask the questions, are they attacking at the same time? They go, no. Right? Sometimes no, but I feel like he's going to be. Right? And so phase 2.
Sweet. Sweet's done.
And he knocks him. And I go, what phase was he in when he got that kill? Phase 2. And that's important to know that he got a kill without any exchanges. Right? So the question I ask, and to ask yourself, is
Look right here, Wraith.
if this Wraith shot back and did the same or more damage as he did here, would we see him do this? Right. If he got shot again and he took more damage, would we see this play here?
Wraith in a really bad spot.
It would be very different depending on what's going on. But because he didn't have any exchanges, that's why we see this play.
Cracked her. She won't be able to get up top. Oh my god.
And the other question is, right now, if he's in phase 2, what would it take for him to enter phase 3? And everyone says, for the enemy to shoot back at him. And I go, that must mean, if this guy is aware of the situation, that must mean he is happy to have that exchange. And I say, why? They say, well, obviously because he's got the health advantage, he just shot him, he did damage. And I go, of course. Of course that's the reason. But when you watch your own videos, you willingly go into exchanges before you've got any type of advantage. And when you watch the pros, we'll see. How often do they actually willingly go into phase 3 where there's exchanges? And if you go off of that alone, you'll learn a lot. You'll see that they do not like phase 3 at all. Even less deathmatch phase. Right? But now our question is, if Rogue tries to retreat here, will he die? And people often go, no, he probably could make it back to the door in time. And I go, right, I think so too. Not only that, he still has his Q. But we go, for this Wraith in front of us, if they try to retreat, right, will they die? And they're like, yeah, for sure, if he does anything but shoot back, he's dead. So for some reason this guy is shooting back, not shooting back. Maybe he's scared, maybe he's still trying. But if he correctly reads the phases, his only option here is to shoot back. And he doesn't, because he got the kill in phase 2. So now we can see that the phases are not equal. You can be in a phase, and the enemy can be in a completely different phase. And that's the true meaning of having the advantage, right? So, if we play it.
Sweet. Sweet's done. Nice. It's the farmer. Bro, I hate EMPs. No, chill. They can't do anything. They literally cannot.
If you're not keeping up, I'll go through the conditions again. Phase 1 is when you're unaware of the enemy, and you ask yourself, are you aware of the enemy? Yes, because he threw the grenade. So he's in phase 2. Then you ask yourself the other question. Are you attacking at the same time? No. They threw in a grenade, and this guy is just running inside. So they're in phase 2.
Not do anything. Chill.
Other question is, what would it take to get into phase 3? Rogue would have to stand outside the door and shoot back, and if he does not do that, that means he does not want an exchange.
That's the rate. Live, draw. Oh my god, are they pushing? We're actually under a sack right now. Alright, Lou, you grapple up front side, I climb up this side. Ready?
So I ask, what phase is he in now? And it should be phase 2. Now I go, what phase is this guy in? Right? He's shooting, and we don't hear any enemy shots, so he's in phase 2. Now we hear enemy shots, he's shooting, and he's taking damage. He's in an exchange. And as we know, a lot of the time, you get to choose what phase you want to be in. So he's choosing to fight here for whatever reason. Now he screams and he runs, but his life is low. So it sounds like he's in a bad situation. Right? So if he realized he has no other option but to fight, he should have been fighting back. Right? Or maybe he was reloading out of ammo. But now, this is another thing people don't see.
It's the fat fruit.
I say, what phase is he in when he takes that shot, right? And it's phase 2. Then I go, what phase is this? And people say, well, they're both attacking each other, so this is phase 3, right? They're both attacking at the same time. The rogue misses a shot. So I go, what phase was he in when he got that kill? And it was phase 3, right? But then, what we don't see
It's the fat fruit.
is he gets a shot in phase 2. This guy is in a bad situation. If he tries to run right now, will he die? Yes. If Rogue tries to run here, will he die? There's a good chance he will not. Right? So Rogue knows, I can take this fight for a bit, but you have to fight, or you die. And he misses. They both miss. He's got one shot left. And so now it's, okay, if he hits the next 2 shots, it's gonna be bad for me. If I miss this next shot, I better run, right? And that's why we see this movement here, because if he misses the next shot and changes to the hemlock, he might not get away. So this shot, he immediately runs to the door. Whether he hit that or not, this is the play we would see, right? So he's very aware. These guys don't think in phases. They don't go phase 1, phase 2, phase 3, but they can feel their situation instinctively over experience. And now we're able to just identify it. You know, what is his options? Or what do I think his options are, right?
Bro, where's their third?
So then I ask, what phase is he in now? And it's 2. And I say, what would it take for him to enter phase 3? He says, well, for him to shoot back at the enemy.
Drop.
Dropped.
Dropped.
And in fact, they closed the door, so that means they don't want an exchange here.
Drop, bro. Hold him out. Drop me all your shotgun shells. Drop. I have no.
So he's not just like a sweaty wraith that just wants to challenge the enemy everywhere he can. He actually still makes the right decisions, the best decisions. Whereas when other people look at their play, they go into the exchange phase almost every fight willingly, when even they haven't got the advantage, right? So
No ammo. I need shells. I need shells. Guys, we're replaying an ALGS spot right now. This is, you guys are watching the ALGS spot.
Yes, I hear you.
This guy. Look at this guy. He's out, bro. Fat Fruit's not playing with some fucking valiant teammates.
So again, I'd say, you know, what phase is he in? And it's 2. He's aware the enemy is around. I go, okay, so what phase did he receive that shot in? Phase 2, because there's no exchange. And I say, okay, so if he wants to enter phase 3, what does he have to do? He has to shoot back, right? So what does he do?
Bro, because I started on lag right now?
Yeah, it has to be.
So again, we have an avoidance of entering phase 3.
Holy fuck, dude.
Are you
I can't
kidding?
escape. I can't escape Spectrum.
Spectrum, you actually can't. Can we ape these guys southeast next?
I'm actually up here. I'm actually in the seas. We can go wherever, I guess.
No,
If we're
we're
landing sorting factory, we'd actually just win this game.
Yeah.
I know. That's the worst thing.
Get looted up and.
Yeah, so this is a really cool part. So now this is where I ask people to identify the phases without me saying anything, okay? And I want you to ask yourself, what would I do if I just did that, right? What phase is he in right now? And what would you do?
Gibby is 1 HP. Gibby is 1 HP.
Right? What phase is he in right now?
Una boleta. We can't push him. We just gotta go inside. No, they're pulling out. Let's take their spot. Take their spot. Zip us left. Zip us left when they take portal. As soon as they take portal, zip us.
What phase is he in right now?
Setting up a zip line.
Wait, I can.
Later.
What phase is he in right now? Right? What about now? And what would it take for him to enter another phase?
There's people on the left towards sorting.
Dropping down right now.
Opening fire on the enemy.
On Bobby?
Right here.
What phase is he in right now?
Right at 50.
I did 47 already.
He's hit 100 then.
On the rock.
Saving nades. Is it just him?
So you can see that these guys, they don't just go into phase 3 for fun. They go into phase 3 only when they have to. They would prefer to not have any exchanges. And compare that with your own gameplay. Say, how many exchanges do I go into when I identify it this way? Right? So I'm going to try and go through these videos as quick as possible. This is another video someone gave me. You know, my Discord group. The people that I show this to, I usually let them pick the video. Right? Because I want to compare them to the players that they seek to be.
No, I hear him to the left over here. They're in the open.
So I say, what phase is this? Right?
Melting them.
Good ball.
And I go right there. He entered phase 3. He doesn't want to have an exchange.
Oh!
So he's attacking them, but they can't attack him. So he's now back in phase 2.
Oh my god. It's bad!
That's bad.
It's so bad.
We're going in.
So here, that guy shoots him back. And if they keep exchanging, they'll be in phase 3. What phase did he get those shots in? Phase 2. The guy wasn't shooting back. What phase did he get that shot in? Phase 2. What is he avoiding? Phase 3. He doesn't want an exchange. What phase was he in when he got that kill? Phase 2.
Another team, I think. Another team behind the way we came. I'm insta-queuing only because I'm fucking weak and I need to play this back rock.
Give me a sec. I queue up. now.
Take it slow, boys. Take it slow.
So this guy's shooting in phase 2, right? We don't know if he's getting shot back at. Probably is, because the bullets are shooting up. So he may be in phase 3, right?
If you can do some
He's
damage so they don't insta-push. Yeah, we're bubbling back.
I'm in bub.
but for some reason he was able to do so much in phase 2,
Left, shoot at him, kill him.
right? So if he knows that that guy's there and he wants to fight him, he would have shot back at him, but he waits until this guy is no longer looking at him so he can get some more shots off in phase 2. It is for his teammates to do the same thing, right? Now, check this out. His teammate shouts, he's won, right? Who's not won? Right? But instead of pushing him, he goes back, next to his cover. He also knows where his teammates are.
Alright, wait, Wraith is out of the fight, boys.
Right? And he avoids any type of phase 3. And you'll see that they do these guys, they do a lot to avoid exchanges, right? So if we go to another video,
on February 21st, 2020, Twitch Rivals hosted.
yeah, this was another person that I was showing this to, giving me another video. And I'll post these videos in the description if I didn't say earlier.
Nice. Well, like, main thing right now.
So now he can hear some shots in the distance somewhere. I don't know where, but he's aware.
Now is just when we have downtime, you should just be looking at your fences and think about like, okay, can I place one of these in a better?
And why is it important? Sorry, why is it important to know the difference between unaware and aware? It's because your mind works differently when it doesn't know where the enemy is versus when it does know where the enemy is. It changes. And you've got to see the habits you have when you know where the enemy is or have an idea versus when you do not, right?
Spot, there's the least chance they could get shot out.
Yeah, I get. I get it now. I get it now. This is like basically our practice. Am I going in?
Get ready.
Getting ready.
Above you, Madison, above you.
Now?
Yeah.
I'm taking.
Going in?
One dead, going back to the full heal.
So 20 damage. And what phase was he in? 2, right? Because he was aware and they wasn't having an exchange.
Full healing, you guys are low, you know.
I'm coming back to you.
Going back.
We're gonna be flanking here, so we gotta focus killing these kids.
Alright, I'm throwing bubble now.
Kill the
Get there.
Pathfinder! Pathfinder's burning flesh!
He's dead.
They're fucking destroyed!
Knocked one. I knocked.
So, what phase was he in when he got that kill? Throughout all those shots, he didn't have any exchanges. He got a kill without exchanging, right? So phase 2.
I knocked one.
Nice. Huge.
We're good.
Yeah, put your ulti down behind here. Yeah, nice job. Good job, bud. So watch your left. Yeah, we need to focus this.
Right here, lift it!
So what phase is he in now? 2. They haven't shot back at him.
Knocked one.
Now what I ask is, in this moment, if this team tries to run away, will they die? And usually people won't say yeah, they will. So if that is true, the question is, do they shoot back or not? Do they keep trying to run away, which they're going to die for, or do they shoot back, right?
Nice. Good shot. Nice.
Knocked down. Got.
Because if they saw that they had no other option, they would have came out shooting. They wouldn't have attempted. But people attempt to stay out of so much exchanges that sometimes they fail to see that there's no other option. The deathmatch phase is the hardest one to detect, right? Now here, he's getting shot at. So he's in phase 2 and he's getting shot. What will it take for him to enter phase 3?
Got him.
Take this spot.
And he doesn't.
I couldn't.
Right? He died in phase 2.
I couldn't. I had to heal, but my bad. Crawling to your bubble.
Got another kill, dead.
Nice.
I'm in your bubble, Wig.
I'm rushing. Yo, armor swap immediately.
I'm doing it.
Yep, you're good. You're doing great. Good job. We need to kill this kid behind us.
I have no light ammo. Okay, push it. Push with DK, I'm going.
So here, the question to ask yourself is, what phase is he in? And we know he's in phase 2. But if he tries to retreat, if he tries to run to that car, or if he tries to run to this rock, will he die? And if your answer is yes, right, then I think that's good, because I feel like that's a little bit too lengthy to run to when you have that low health. But if your answer is, I would try and run to the rock just in case this guy misses, then you will be operating as if you're in phase 2. And so now, depending on this guy's actions, we get to see what phase he thinks he's in.
Cracked one, I cracked one, I cracked two.
Do you understand now? So this is one way you can use, what do they do? Because these guys don't think in phases, but they understand the situation and their options, and that's why they're good players, because they usually pick the correct option, right? So last video, again, completely different person picked this, so I'm going to show you the phases in this fight, right? And I know of Lyric because it's usually his name and AC's name that gets pulled up, like who has the better movement or something. And so yeah, I don't know if I'm starting a war here, but this guy is very good as far as I know. I don't really know the other people, but I know this guy's good. So that first burst, right? If we look at that, we got the first burst in phase 2. And then quickly goes into phase 3. We have an exchange. We get another shot in phase 3, right? Right here. And what does Lyric do? Another shot in phase 2. No exchange. Phase 2 shot, no exchange. This is a phase 2 shot. This is a phase 2 shot. This is a phase 2 shot. And how does that look when we watch it normally? Right? All right, so the people that are really good at this game, they're not just being mindlessly aggressive, right? If you watch your own videos and you see how often do I get into phase 3 and how often do I just stay there, how often do I act like I'm in a deathmatch? These guys that are doing good and finding success, they very rarely run out of options. And even less, they don't want to exchange. If they do go into exchanges willingly, it's probably because that person they're fighting against just does not have the same aim as them, cannot hit them. So it doesn't really matter, they still have a lot of options. But in lobbies where their opponent is just as good as them, they show them some respect, which is the habit you need to pick up regardless of what lobby you're in. If you're not out, if you don't have much higher mechanical skill than your opponents, don't go into phase 3. Not as often. Right? And that's all I got to say. I hope this does help those. Again, it's just a tool to use to help you compare and help you analyze yourself. This gets crazy when you start taking into consideration different legends, different weapons, different characters, maps, options, positions. This is, you simplify all that and you just go, what are my options here? And am I exchanging with the opponent? Do I need to? Right? So if you want to write it out for yourself, it should be P1, unaware, and then the question, are you aware of the enemy, yes or no? If it's a yes, you move on. If it's a no, you stay there. Then you have phase 2 or where. Then the question, are you attacking at the same time, or do you have an exchange at the same time? If it's no, you're in phase 2. If it's yes, you're in exchange. Phase 3, right? And then the next question is, will you die for retreating here? Or attempting, doing anything but shooting back? Right? If it's a no, you're still in phase 3. If it's a yes, that means you have no other option but to shoot them, and you should shoot instead of running or trying to hide. And that's it, guys.